going to teach you about what makes a good slideshow and how to make yours look professional. To make a professional slideshow, there's a lot that goes into it. During my presentation, I will go over all of these things by me. All right. What was wrong with that? Please. Everything. Let's get more specific. What was wrong with it?
It was yellow.
It was yellow. It was bright yellow. I assaulted all of you.
It's Comic Sans font.
I was hoping somebody would catch that. It was Comic Sans. Anybody else?
The dog picture didn't belong.
It did not belong at all. Not at all.
You read it word for word.
I did. I read it word for word. Did anybody notice the text lingo? Anybody see that? Oh yeah. It was quite often in there. She got me. All right. In addition to everything that you guys listed, there's a few more things actually. But you guys did get quite a lot. There were some bright, contrasting colors. Yellow and red right on top of each other. There was an illegible font for my slide, for my intro, for my heading. There was irrelevant photos, like Mitchell said. There was a dog. There was no point for there to be a dog at all. There were too many words. And there were also animations. Those didn't show, but that's okay. There it is. I'm just gonna stare at it for a second. Colors. Who's familiar with the color wheel? Yeah. So on one half of the color wheel, you have these warm colors. You got red, yellow, there's an orange. Green is a little bit when you start to mix yellow with it. These are the brightest colors that you can have. They are so insanely bright when you put them on a slide that it just distracts everything. Anything, any point that you're trying to make, you're not going to pay attention to it because just instead, I read the slide word for words, but I put yellow, orange, red, all these warm colors right on top of each other. However, let's look at this side of the color wheel. You got violet, blue, green. These, you can tell they're a lot calmer. You make them dark, they're almost perfect for a slide. When you're looking at the color wheel, you're going to want to ignore, for making a slide, you're going to want to ignore the warm colors mostly. You're going to want to stick to these cool colors. The other thing about this, if you have a blue slide and it's dark blue, then you're going to want to do a white font. If you have a light blue slide, you're going to want to do a black font. Just because blue and orange are across from each other on a color wheel doesn't mean that you should be putting both of them on your slide. Nextly, fonts. What's the difference between these two right here?
You can read one of them.
You can read one of them, exactly. When I came up here, did anybody really see that as the most professional speaker? No. Go ahead. I got a shaking head over there. No, definitely not. And part of that did come down to the fact that not only did I have Comic Sans, like Noah said, but I had this. I don't even remember what this font is called, but you can't really read it. It's blending into each other. It's a very decorative font. This one over here is what's called a sans serif. There's nothing extra added onto it. It's simply just the letters. Very easy to read. And then this, bringing this thing back. It's so cartoony that you would never look at it and think, wow, that's a professional right off the bat. And that's what I'm supposed to be establishing myself as right now. I'm supposed to be establishing myself on the professional of this, as a professional of this thing. So this way you're listening to me, I'm building credibility. That just doesn't quite do it. Looks more like a slideshow that you would present maybe if you used a slideshow in preschool or something like that. Next, photos. This dog is cute and fluffy and my husband probably loves it. However, it has nothing to do with my slideshows at all. There's absolutely no point for there to be a dog up here. If I were giving a speech about why dogs are the best animals, sure, great, really makes sense. But then you go to this one, and you can see an actual visual aid being used, a very professional environment. You know, you're seeing it here. There's even a blurred out one back there, but it's actually pertaining to what I'm going to be talking about and giving you an example within that photo already. Next up, words. I read it word for word. People can read faster than they can listen to you speak and process it. So if I put this up, some people probably already started to read it and stopped listening. It didn't click. There we go. If I put that up, some people probably are wanting to read that more than listening to me. I'm watching your eyes right now. Read the slide. And that's perfect because you're going to read what I'm telling you right now instead of listening to me. If I have a paragraph up on this slideshow and it is giving my speech for me, What is the point of me being here? There is none. However, if I use something like what makes a good slide? Simple. A question. You have no idea what makes a good slide because I'm not telling you. I'm telling you that me, the speaker, is going to come up here and tell you that. Next up, animations. It's not necessary. People use animations because they think it makes their speeches more catching, more exciting. It's just distracting. If you have an animation that's absolutely necessary, sure. You need bullet points to pop up one at a time like Ashlyn did. That's a perfect example of a really nice animation. However, my little spinning bow tie of text, it didn't do anything for you guys. So I have a question for everybody. I'm actually gonna hop down here. And this part really requires audience interaction. So what did I say about colors? Cool colors. So my favorite color is blue. So let's just pop that up there. What about fonts? Sans serifs. Perfect. All right. What about pictures? Relevant. Exactly. And then, how many words should you have on a slide?
Very few.
Very few. And what about animations?
None.
None, exactly. You know what? Yeah, not for this one. So when you're making your speech and you think to yourself, gosh, I really can't make one. I have no idea. You just made one in about 30 seconds. So I'm sure that you can. Thank you.